Adam Coleman is back to talk about Ibram Kendi, anti-racist and head of what is exactly the center called? The Center for Anti-Racism at Boston University, I think.
Yeah, I think it's like Anti-Racist Institute or something like that.
We'll look it up while we're talking about it. Anyway, Adam, according to Ibram Kendi, is a servant of racism because he considers himself a free thinker and does not agree with Ibram Kendi, which is why I brought you on to talk about this, because I believe this is probably in response to what's going on with Claudine Gay, the Harvard ex-president. But he wrote, "Pay attention, the racist mob routinely calls people of color woke and their presence DEI, and then says it is striving to eliminate DEI and wokeism. It couldn't be clearer who the racist mob is striving to eliminate, particularly from positions of power and influence. Exceptions, invitations are always out for individuals of color willing to be servants of the racist mob. Ironically, these servants call themselves free thinkers on this platform." Now, there are a lot of people who probably think exactly like Ibram Kendi. The reason that I thought this was interesting and worthy of discussion is because he and his cohort are highly involved in the curation of training of journalists nowadays who are going through diversity or equity inclusion training. So I'm just curious what you think about that.
Yeah, so basically what he's telling them to do is comply, not think. He's telling them to see everything through a particular framing, and their interpretation is going to be from that particular lens. And you're not supposed to allow yourself to think critically, because thinking critical is a telltale sign of white supremacy. So you're not allowed to think critical about a given story, or as particular details about a particular story. The way people like Ibram X. Kendi think is basically they have the conclusion and they want you to do everything possible to come to that conclusion. Rather, with journalism, you have a problem and you're trying to figure out what's the conclusion, or what's the cause of the problem, or where is this going? It's through curiosity, it's exploratory. And he's essentially telling them to already know what the you already know what the cause of the problem is, because it's always racism. So now you must do everything possible to connect the dots to come to that particular conclusion that you already know.
To me, I would be totally fine with him being a newsroom trainer if you just had alternative voices that give people perspective like yours. The reason that I talk about this is not really to promote your idea and demote his idea or whatever. It's just to give people who might be paying attention and still work in a newsroom the understanding that this is not a settled topic. You know what I mean? Like, this is not, it's not a easily divided line in the sand between this race and that race, as if you're a racist if you think this way and you just are, you must be a white person. And so in order to be aligned with your black friend, or if you're doing a story about someone, you're trying to understand a person you're interviewing that's black, that you have to look at the situation through the lens of Ibram Kendi, or else you're not really understanding them, or you're a racist. And a lot of journalists, I think, are fed this. They just think this is the way it is. And so I just present, because I want people to understand this is an unsettled topic, you know, and if you're going to cover the public debate about it, you need to know what all kinds of different people think about it. And I don't think they do. I think people like Ibram Kendi make it seem like it's a race war that happens between people who look a certain way.
All of this is ideological. What they're basically trying to do is mold people into not only thinking a particular way, but finding people who can confirm the way that they think. So, for example, there's a reason why, and this happens with all media, whether it's left or right, whether it's people like Kendi who are wholly ideological, or just on either side of the political persuasion. But if they want someone to confirm something and they want to put a black face on it, they'll do it, and what they're trying to say is, this black person thinks this particular way, And so they give them a platform to say it, and it confirms their viewpoint. Now, for Kendi, what he sees it as, he doesn't see it when he's invited, right? Because the way he thinks is the truth. Whereas if I'm invited, I am speaking on behalf of somebody else, right? It's always the way they always do it, and it's an insulting thing, but it's only insulting if you care. Uh, but it's an insulting thing that they do where they say, you're only saying this because they're paying you to say it. You're only saying this
Right.
because they're making you do it. It's always,
Or just you're brainwashed.
right, you're
Or you
brainwashed.
hate yourself. You hate yourself. You're self-loathing, racist of your own
Right.
people or something.
That's why he used the word servant, right? You are
Yeah.
serving someone else's agenda, right? You can't possibly be thinking for yourself. You must be doing it to appease somebody else. And that's the disingenuous nature of it. He can't see how he might be appeasing somebody else. He can't see how he might be a servant to the upper class. He can't see it at all because he's part of that circle, and he only sees within that circle. But on top of that, he has an ideology that backs him up. But I think a lot of people, whether they're leftist ideologues or not, I think a lot of people only see within their circle. They only see what they want to see, and everybody else who's outside of it is some sort of traitor who doesn't want to know the truth, doesn't see the truth. But I think what's unique about leftist ideologues is that it's intellectualized to the nth degree, and it's perpetrated by the upper class. And so they're able to get into all these prominent positions, like we're talking about journalism. They're able to get into government. They're able to get all these positions, and it gives them a level of authority that is different than any other, let's say, political ideology.
Everybody, don't forget, it's wine time. Don't be a whiner. Just get some good wine and support the work. 50% off the wine, 50% off shipping. If you already are a wine drinker, these are amazing wines. You have no excuse. This is a company that is so supportive of my work. They never tell me who I can talk to, what I can say, any of that stuff. And they have a genuinely great product. Go to AllisonWinePromo.com. These are all from Argentina, mountains, high extremist altitude. And they make for a great gift. If like my friend, for instance, she probably think I'm crazy if she watched all my podcasts. But like I was just talking about my anti-racist training friend, she'd be like, what is Allison doing? But you know what? We'd be friends over if I brought her a bottle of AllisonWinePromo.com. She'd forget all about it. So go to AllisonWinePromo.com and support my work. You can also get your vitamin D. Oh, this is a new product they have over at greenpasture.org. But I'm going to show you my cod liver oil. They've got this new rub for the kids and for you. And I'm supposed to try it out. So I'm going to the chest muscle vapor rub. So it's the new product there. But what I always talk about is the fermented cod liver oil, butter oil blend. If you get seasonal affective disorder, you get cavities, whatever it is, I bet you can find some help with this product. It is a fermented food. It's not a supplement. It's cod liver oil and high vitamin D butter oil. And you get 10% off your order if you use promo code Allison10 at checkout. There's also an affiliate link in the pinned comments in the description. But it's a great product. I've been taking it for like 13 years. And I truly did heal my dental health with this thanks to the product, because I was getting cavities all the time. And I really didn't change a whole lot except for I started taking this every day, and it made a big difference. So go check them out, greenpasture.org, Allison10. If you want to send me a letter or send me your pocket change or a lottery ticket, you don't want to use a credit card for the platforms, you don't want the banks chasing you. Maybe you don't have a bank because you got debanked, but you still have cash. You want to send me cash, you could do that by going to P.O. Box 3355, Denellen, Florida, 34432. I will get your mail. I really appreciate everybody who sends me mail. I love reading your letters, seeing your pictures, all that good stuff. Don't send anything creepy, and don't send anything edible because I'm probably not going to eat it. I don't want to waste your food. I just a little paranoid people are trying to kill me. Adam, any final thoughts before we go? Particularly towards any journalist who might be watching this and is going through this kind of training.
Use critical thinking and do not be scared. If you think that you're alone in how you feel, likely you're not. The problem is that a lot of people shut up and just comply because they don't want to lose their job, and leftists who are doing the trainings understand this, and they use that as leverage. So there are a lot of people who just kind of keep their head down and do things that they don't believe in, that make no sense, all because they're trying to get a paycheck. And you have to ask yourself, like, how does this actually make you feel? Is it worth it? Are you sleeping well at night doing stuff that makes no sense, that actually hurts people, or makes you question why you're even in the field in the first place, if this is the direction that it's going? Um, so yeah, I would tell people to fight back, because there's more people are willing to comply than actually stick their necks out. But once someone sticks their neck out, then all of a sudden you start to see other people start to stick their neck out too. So
Yeah.
it only takes a brave
Right.
few.
Yeah, in a newsroom, yeah, a couple people who are willing to do that. But I can see how a lot of reporters just, if they even question it, they're just like, I'd rather just quit my job than get called into HR as a racist. Adam Coleman's on Twitter at wrong_speak, publisher and writer. You got a lot of stuff, usually in the New York Post, and a great follow
Mhm.
on Twitter. So definitely check out Adam.